So, in case nobody saw the trailer, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is getting a complete remake, which is actually seriously cool and genuinely looking forward to it. And this game is being rewritten by Sam Maggs, who is an SJW activist and a total fucking bigot when it comes to Star Wars and its fans. To anyone who needs a quick catch-up on Sam, as I said, she is an SJW activist who hates male Star Wars fans while mocking the whole fan base, telling them to die mad about. Okay. And when she was asked back in 2019 what her favorite Star Wars game was, she responded with, not KOTOR. Why the fuck are you working on it then? The really bloody bizarre thing about all of this is that we have a woman who said KOTOR is not her fave Star Wars game, and yet she is working with BioWare to rewrite the game. Where in the ever-living hell is the logic? That's like a dictator running a country with an iron fist, while saying in a news interview that he would rather be a pastry chef for the local cafe. And there is something else I need to address, which is her making a bunch of tweets about people bitching about Rey being so powerful when the same thing was with Anakin, I'll get to that in a sec, and how The Last Jedi was absolutely amazing. When in fact it wasn't. There is nothing in it that is really that memorable, and it's the same in The Rise of Skywalker and maybe even The Force Awakens, although that one is far more memorable than the other two. And the last one had so many inconsistencies and other moments where it just felt like it was just sheer coincidence. Or as everyone else would say, lazy and shit. Now let's talk about this bit. Rey and Anakin. In one of her tweets, she complained about people bitching about Rey being so overpowered with hardly any training and tried to say that it was the same with Anakin. When? Anakin was a child slave on Tatooine who came into being through unknown circumstances, which Qui-Gon discovered after Shmi said that Anakin didn't have a father. Which kinda says some fools decided just to plop a baby in her. That or she. Wait, how would a slave go to the local sperm bank? And would there even be one on Tatooine? But regardless, even after you eventually give up on him coming into existence, he was fucking trained by Obi-Wan! Anakin was trained in the Jedi arts from a child. Rey wasn't. When we see her, she's like 18, 19, maybe even 20. Who knows, don't care. But she was, what, left on Jakku? Sold? Abandoned? Whatever. But she grew up without even knowing she had the Force. She was literally all on her own while growing up on Jakku. It wasn't until Kylo kidnapped her that she discovered she had the Force, which led to her flying to Luke Skywalker, who barely even trained her. Like, there wasn't much training involved. And then we discover she's the daughter of Emperor Palpatine. Wait, how the fuck did you even survive? Regardless, complaining about people claiming Rey to be too stupidly overpowered and trying to disprove their bollocks by bringing up Anakin Skywalker, who had one of the most tragic backstories within Star Wars. Also, did you forget that there was a prophecy involving a chosen one who would bring balance to the Force? Yeah, that was Anakin. Plus, we got to see Anakin's life. Rey had like 3 flashbacks. So how the hell does that help your case? And while we're talking about Rey's past, I really need to bring up the fact that her entire story is being written on the fly. They were literally making shit up as they went. And this isn't me having a pop at Daisy Ridley, because that's not what this is. All Daisy was doing was going off a script she was given. This was a role she had applied for, which she had successfully gotten. So it would be the exact same thing if the role had been given to someone else. Rey had one of the most poorest write-ups in Star Wars. And the sequel movies were, while I had seen them and thought they were good, were a giant letdown compared to the previous 6 that had been made. But that's enough of the movies. Back to KOTOR. Sam's tweets are either slamming people for giving their thoughts on Rey in the sequel movies and how The Last Jedi is a great movie, lol, as well as making other tweets that I would need a physics teacher to explain to me. But we also have something else. A person by the name of Christine Bates made this tweet with a picture of Revan, who you play as in the game, who is also a gay. And I have a lot of issues with them talking about Revan being non-binary and gender fluid. Here's the fucking guy! He marries Bastila Shan, and they have a daughter named Sabel Shan. Like, have these fuckwits done any research into this shit? I also need to address two things. The first thing is a positive thing involving the game, which is that Jennifer Hale will be returning to reprise her role as Bastila Shan, which is fucking awesome. That is wicked, and I'm seriously looking forward to that. But the other thing I need to bring up is that this game is a remake, not rewrite. Meaning that you cannot really change anything within the game, especially without seriously affecting the already existing lore, which is a serious worry many people are dealing with. And someone even states never to be excited about a remake of a game in this current day of age, with all these fucking lunatics wandering around bitching at everyone about everything, from being racist to being sexist over the tiniest bloody things to there not being enough representation. Quite frankly, you can all fuck off and plow each other in a deep ditch for all I care, because ever since people began complaining about lack of representation, resulting in every fucking company getting woke and going broke, while pretty much resulting in shit shows and games. The Last of Us 2 is an extremely good example. To be honest, it's fucking annoying, and if people are gonna bitch at me for what I just said, then allow me to show you how to fix that particular issue. Write good fucking storylines and plot. It seriously isn't that bloody difficult. Back to this tweet Christine Bates made. People literally had to point out that Revan is canonically a bloke, though I don't remember being able to change the character's sex while playing. Then again, I've not played it in years, so maybe I just didn't notice or forgot. But people were having to address this by saying Revan is literally a guy in canon, and one guy even had to send a description of Revan with an arrow pointed to what his sex is. And then after someone asked Kristen who Revan's was, referring to Revan as they because uncultured twat, with Kristen answering with, "She's an icon!" And the guy named Exile1994 once again had to point out that Revan is a dude, showing the same description, this time highlighted in a circle. Anyone who knows these games knows that Revan is canonically a male. You literally cannot do anything to alter it without causing massive outrage and backlash. And I'd kinda have to say the same with Jaden Core from Jedi Academy. Granted, the game lets you choose whether to be a male or a female, but again, canonically, Jaden is a guy which can be backed up by a bunch of Star Wars comics made with Jaden Core being in it. Now back to Sam. Sam made more tweets, one with what she had done, and another responding to a tweet someone made talking about how great The Last Jedi is. Clearly wouldn't know what a good movie is if it ran into them with a speeder, with Sam then responding, "What is it like being so objectively and unequivocally correct?" And to truthfully answer that question, she ain't. I've already explained the issues with the sequel movies. Sam even made this tweet, which I had to send to Yoda's master, Nkata del Gormo, to have it translated to make sense, and even he couldn't figure out what the hell it meant. Seriously, what the fuck is this guy even on? Can someone please kidnap this twonk and offer him up as a sacrifice to Marco Ragnas on Korriban? Because this is hurting my brain cells. But the major issue that exists with Sam Banks is working on this game is this tweet, which she says she is excited to be working with Aspirine Media to remake one of her all-time favorite games. What? Do you now see the issue here? Sam has made a tweet stating to be excited to be working to remake one of her all-time favorite Star Wars games, when in an earlier tweet she had claimed that KOTOR is not, which is kind of contradictory and left people having to address this to her. But the real interesting thing about this tweet is actually less what she said and more inside the replies that have been left. Like in this reply thread, with one person claiming not to be the type of customer Sam is after judging by a previous tweet with a person named Jay, to be fair, actually making points that I do agree with, except for this part, because looking at the current generation, it's beyond fucked. You literally have people bitching at people for lack of representation, and then other people bitching at them for going woke, resulting in shit shows and games. Okay, maybe less games, but very much more the shows, upon coming out flopping and causing the company to lose money. Back to the tweet, the Incredible Carter's response was that Jay could be right, but then brings up Sam's past with the fans, and bringing up additional issues with Sam Maggs within Star Wars, and others like her, basically just spitting facts. I am thinking this was just the one tweet like this. Nope! I literally scrolled through reading these, and it very much wasn't a one-off. Demon's Life Swap Shop addresses his or her problems, sorry for not knowing your sex mate, by saying the game has been condemned to death with all the politics that has been spoken by Sam, and follows up by saying the original will always be superior to the remake. And while there are people who genuinely are looking forward to this remake, myself included, people are still fearing for the game given Sam's history, and hoping she doesn't cock the whole thing up, resulting in the game being a giant flop. And if people are fearing for this game given her past, then quite frankly, I'd be afraid of her creating an entire planet from scratch if she was given a basic starting block.
There it is, it's blue, don't fuck it up.
We even had someone who was also a writer comment saying they don't think Sam should be making this game solely because of the lack of respect and decency she has with people criticizing her and her work, which people do have the right to criticize and question. If she's getting offended by people, talking about people giving their thoughts and opinions on this whole thing, and reacting like, well, an indecent hut, then that is a serious issue, and it shows that you have seriously thin skin, which basically gives everyone the impression that you'll overreact to even the most tamest and passive criticisms one would give. That is never a good sign, love. I'm sorry, but it really isn't. Which is also going to make people worry about this game even more. Hell, we even had people freaking out fearing you completely destroying the game by adding all this woke crap into it and hoping you were just someone in the background and not the lead writer. And I actually have to agree with Ryan here about this game being a remake and it not needing writers. Because that's what this fucking is! It's a remake, not a rewrite. And yes, I'm going to keep reminding people of this because that's what this is. Unless this game is being remade the same way as the original Mafia game was with the Enhanced Edition, there is no real reason for the game to have writers. Let's actually talk about that game for a sec. The original Mafia game was a very amazing game. After you get past the bastard that is the first level, which got a complete remake about a decade later, which was absolutely fantastic and gave the game new life. But everything is basically the same. Same characters who are the same as they were in the original game, same missions, but completely rebuilt from the ground up. That's all it really is. Now, another game that originally came out years ago was Oddworld Abe's Odyssey, which many years later got a remake called Oddworld New and Tasty.
This is more of a HD redo.
Ah. Okay. Well, still more or less a remake. The entire game was once again rebuilt from the ground up, but nothing overly had been changed majorly. Everything was still the same as it was in the original game. And this game was very successful. So we are hoping the same will be said here. But to be honest, we're not holding our breath. And considering people know who this girl is and know her past within the fanbase, it's got dozens of people fearing the worst and that this game is going to be utter dog shit. That Star Wars Girl 77 made a tweet, co-tweeting a tweet made by Data Racer talking about Sam while being, I'm gonna say maybe a bit harsh, but also possibly accurate, while also addressing a statement she made about KOTOR not being her favorite game. And that Star Wars Girl also showed a screenshot of, I'm guessing, her being blocked by Sam Maggs? Or Data Racer being blocked? Either way, Sam blocked these people. Now, I am aware that she does have the right to block these people, but that doesn't really shut them up and stop them from having opinions. And these are extremely huge fans of Star Wars who know a great deal about Sam Maggs and her history within the fanbase more than I do. But from what I've seen, she's straight up bonkers. Maybe a little bit lacking thick skin. Oh, and apparently Sam Maggs is a Brie Larson stan. Oh dear. And Christine Bates wants to work in Lucasfilms to get whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. And also talking about, lady, learn how to fucking read. Now to give my genuine thoughts on the whole situation. Personally, when it comes to the game, and given the major fact this game is a remake, I think this game should, for the most part, remain pretty much the same as the original with a few enhancements or changes, along with some very improved cinematics, character design, like with Mission Bayo, Zalbar, and Vander Taraki, who is one of the Jedi Masters of the Jedi on Dantooine, combined with rebuilt weapons, a far better and improved look for the Ebonhawk, as well as far more lightsaber designs, which would actually be seriously cool, as in the original you only had 3 actual designs, with 0 customizations apart from the crystals. And speaking of crystals, make extra crystals for the lightsabers to add a more variety of lightsaber hilts the player can come across. I am really hyped for this game, and seriously looking forward to this game coming out, but given the history behind the person who was involved in the writing, I'm not going to be getting my hopes up. Obviously, I'll be hoping to be wrong, along with everyone else, and this is all nothing more than straight up paranoia. However, that doesn't mean I'm going into this not expecting this game to be a giant flop and disgrace to the original. When a game you love gets a remake, it's normal for people to worry about how well it's going to hold up and if it'll do the original any justice, and you can't really blame them for being upset when it's not. But for a game that's as legendary as Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, it's going to be held to very high expectations, which will result in far more worry and concern for it, and it's amplified by a sextillion% when one of the people working on this has stated this game is not her favorite of the franchise, and has a serious issue within the community and fanbase. I don't blame them for freaking out and instantly jumping to this game being garbage before it's even come out, but in my case, I'm not going to be as severe. I'm going to wait and be very patient. And when this game does come out, I'll make a Game Detective video on it and see how this game fares. But until that day comes and the game is released, I'm going to go back to the Jedi Temple and learn about both sides of the Force to find balance within. Because like a wise Jedi once said, neither side of the Force is inherently good or evil. It's how you use them. Take care.